Good evening and welcome to Fleece TV this rainy evening. Now we're going to be talking about this in a little while, but a little earlier today I was fortunate enough to have a Zoom chat with Jude Rees, who you might remember was playing her shawm or shawms for us last week in a rather funky medieval way. So first of all, we're going to have a watch of me and Jude.
So good afternoon and welcome to Fleece TV, and I'm joined this afternoon by Jude Rees from Coventry, who has played here at the Fleece before, a multi-instrumentalist, I think would be the best term, among others, to say hi. Anyway, hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hi Nigel, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to see you. We were fortunate enough to have you play in one of your videos. You kind of let us share last week, I think we put it out, with playing the shawm, or the shawms actually.
Yeah.
You've got a load of instruments. How many instruments have you got actually? What are they, all those things?
Well, I'm in a bit of a forest. I thought I'd, dress the set appropriately for you. So this is just a sort of a small amount of the instruments that I do have. But this is Crumhorn Corner, as I'm calling it. We've got a soprano, an alto, and a tenor over here. They're the ones that look like a walking stick. So Crumhorn Corner. And then you kindly featured my shawm video. So we've got a little forest of 3 shawms here. We've got a little jazz squeaker here, which is my sopranino shawm, and a soprano, which is the brunette, and the blonde is an alto. And yes, they look the same length, but there's a reason for that, bit nerdy. And then behind here, on the old ledge, I've got my kirtle or dulcian, which is one of these, which is a fascinating instrument. And hidden away just outside of shot, I've got a bit of a bagpipe hanging up, just in case you wanted to see, because I've also got a bagpipe video. So
what era are the instruments? Are they from the same sort of era or different eras? Or?
So it's a real spread, and a lot of them have a lot of crossover. So the shawms and the bagpipes are the oldest, and you get I think we got sort of shawm technology from like the Crusades. Like a lot of things, we nicked it from the Middle East. So you get, like, shawms and bagpipes were pretty ubiquitous all the way through the Middle Ages and through the Renaissance, because they are just highly kind of versatile. You can do lots of stuff with them. I'm trying to waggle a bit of bagpipe at you. And they had a really long length of use. And then eventually the shawms were kind of got developed out of. They are basically proto oboes, and eventually they had keys added and they became the oboes. They started off being called the hautbois or the hautboys, and eventually oboe, oboen, oboes. So these became oboes. Bagpipes just kind of, they kind of come in and come out all over the place, and there's hundreds of different pan-European different sorts of bagpipes. Crumhorns, they've got a very small window of life, so they're basically Renaissance, kind of even less than that. They're kind of Tudor, and they are. Do you mind me going on about them, or
please.
Just stop me?
Give us a little note or two if you like, or whatever.
I can literally nerd for Britain, so you must stop me if necessary, Nigel. So the Crumhorns are a member of a family of instruments called the windcap family, and they did die out, completely died out. And the reason why they're called windcap is if you take off its little hat, you can see underneath it's a reed, just like it would be with one of my shawms. But you don't play directly onto the reed, you play into the hat, the cap. And as a result, they're very limited. You've only got a range of 1/9, which is not very much, and you can't play loud and soft. They're either on or they're off. So these were kind of the instrument du jour of the Renaissance, and loads of composers wrote for them, but they really died out after that. Whereas the other instruments I have developed into other instruments, or we have the bagpipes, which basically everyone knows about.
Yeah, of all those instruments that you play, then, which is do you have a favourite or?
I couldn't say in front of the instruments.
No.
I would get jealous. I love them all. I guess my first, because I'm an oboist really. Oboe is my first instrument.
I see.
My first early instrument was this tiny little, very gigged sopranino shawm. You can probably see it's chipped, and you can see where the varnish has worn off, where my thumbs have been playing. I don't know if you can see that, where the varnish has worn away. Like, it's in a completely filthy and manky condition, but I love it because it was my first. And then I love the bagpipes because, well, I'm gonna say, who doesn't love the bagpipes? But I don't.
Who doesn't love the bagpipes?
Because loads of people hate the bagpipes, but so yeah, shawms and bagpipes. I love those. But I mean, who wouldn't love a crumhorn as well? It's such a ridiculous.
Okay, so you've done, what sort of things have you been doing then? Because you're playing a number of different bands, don't you? Do you want to tell us a little about the bands that you play in?
Yeah, so I joined Pilgrim's Way folk bands. I'm not, as you all know, Nigel, I'm not part of the original lineup, because I believe that the original lineup came and did a bit of a barnstormer in the with Lucy and Tom and Edwin. But now there's 5 of us.
Well, we'd love to have you back, actually.
Oh, well, that would be amazing. I know that we'd absolutely love to come and play, get the Fleece in. So there's Pilgrim's Way, always available. I play in a Renaissance consort called Piva. In fact, it's Eric Mulder from Piva who made a lot of the instruments that I play. So it's kind of like, it's brilliant knowing him because I can borrow all the instruments and it's like being in a sweet shop. I get to have a go at everything. It's great.
What does Piva mean?
Say again?
What does Piva mean? Does that have a meaning?
Well, it has lots of different meanings, but my favourite meaning of the word Piva is Czech for beer. So if we want to be, I'm sure we can all approve of that. It's also a Piva is a Renaissance dance step as well. So it's quite a kind of sprightly, jumpy dance step called a Piva step. And there are lots of other, Piva means lots of different things in lots of different languages, but beer is my favourite. Yeah. Oh, Will Pound, I should probably give a shout out to Will Pound. If it wasn't for this global pandemic that we are in at the moment, I would be on tour with the darling of the Fleece at Bretperton, Mr. Will Pound himself, the very man, with his latest album, A Day Will Come, which I'm really hoping it will come because it hasn't so far.
Fingers crossed. I mean, we were just talking about before about doing some socially distanced playing outside, and I hope very much you'll be able to come and do that for us. So, there's another band, aren't you, with an outfit called Arcadium? Is that right?
Oh yeah, so I completely forgot. Thank you. So as well as the Renaissance and the folk music, I go a bit further back, and Arcadium are a group of medievalists, and they do deep down medieval funky stuff. We're talking music of the Plantagenets, that sort of thing, and I've played with them a few times, and I've got a few, there's a collaborative video out there on my fledgling YouTube channel.
If people wanted to pick up some of your tunes, both your collaboration and the stuff you've done on your own, what have you got? Do you say you've got a YouTube channel? Have you? How do people get to it?
I think you get to it because it's got one of these silly kind of URLs that I can't possibly remember. But if you type in Jude Rees music, then hopefully it's a young channel. There's only 4 things up there, so you'll see me with bagpipes and shawms and another piece I wrote, and so something from Arcadium is up there, and my bagpipey shawm videos are up there, and something on hurdy-gurdy and oboe as well, which was my first video. So
all right, well, we're blessed with your bagpipe offering later to finish the show, so thank you. But I hope we can entice you to come and play here at the Fleece soon. And, once we get that garden open.
Oh, I love that. I miss the Fleece so much. And a sort of, okay, maybe not on a day like this. Well, on a day like this, you'd all huddle around indoors and go into the barn and get your instruments out. But Yeah, I miss the fleece. Who doesn't? Oh,
All right, Jude. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to speak with you again soon. Thank you.
my pleasure. Take care.
So that's Jude, and you'll be able to see Jude playing the bagpipes at the end of the show. Now, one or two comments. Spike says, get Pilgrim's Way back to the Fleece. We'll move everything to get there. So lots of lovely people watching. John's watching, Matthew, Harry, Stan, Jean, Tracy. Hi, Trace. Andy Canning. And hi. And we've started late tonight. Andy, make up for starting too early last night. So glad you're with us. We're here in the pewter room, and this beauty has featured before on Fleece TV, because in these cupboards here are Lola's shoes, and we talked about Lola's shoes before. But back in the day, this was in fact part of a cockfighting ring, maybe 4 or 6 of these, and the birds would have been placed in here with the door shut to keep them quiet in between fights. Yeah. Now our technical director's got her lip out now, thinking that's very well. It's banned now. You're okay. Even in Bretton, cockfighting is no more. When we had the fire, which we've spent very little time actually, you can see up there. When we had the fire, this was transported rapidly out of here. 2 chaps are working on the house next door, doing some building. Got hold of this, one at each end. Within minutes, they got it through this door and out through that door, just like that. Amazing. When we reopened, the National Trust had refurbished all the furniture for us, and they brought all the furniture back, and they had 3 or 4 people making a decision about how to bring each piece in and where to place it. And it actually took them about 20 minutes just to decide how to get it back through the door, which I think is, on the one hand, the power of adrenaline, and on the other hand, the problems of working in a committee. But there you go, it got back in place, and it's one of the great joys of the Fleece, is sitting in this lovely setting, particularly when there's some music next door. Before we go any further, I just wanted to say that my very best wishes to Mike and Mary and their son Mark. Mark's just gone through a big operation down in London, and it's gone very well apparently, so our very best wishes to you guys. Now, we have in Fleeceland a fantastical PR person, PR guru, called Caroline Leah, and right at the beginning of lockdown, she said she would do she was doing some work on building up her skills that she previously learned a little while ago and has relearnt, and promised to send us a video of it. Now, it's been some time, but finally, after some cajoling, she sent us this.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This one. No, this one's for you, Nigel Smith.
That's really good.
How many years in lockdown have I been promising this picture? Right, hang on, I'm going to move my feet away from the wall.
Hand.
Yay!
Thanks, Caroline. And I'm not sure Caroline was quite expecting the help from her doggy there. But there you go. But thanks for that. Much fun. If you've got any daftness you'd like to share with us, that would be very, very well received. Thank you. I think it's time for Julian's joke.
Ford have just taken on a load of Egyptians to do the afternoon shift. They'll be known as the 2 till 10 carmen.
So that's pretty much the end of tonight's Fleece TV. Thank you for joining us. But we are most honoured to have players out of tonight's show, the wonderful Jude Rees on the bagpipes. Good night from Fleece TV.